Rangers next, and we'll talk to you after the ball game.
In the next week and a half.
And Chris, if they're going to be the measuring stick that I think the Rangers are serving right now for really the entire division, you're going to get a good look at exactly what you need to do. You're going to get a great look at what they've been able to do and what has made them successful. And I think the numbers sort of bear it out. The pitching, that 3.23 ERA, as far as the staff is concerned, that's the 4th best in the big leagues. And the starting pitchers, Chris, that 2.85. We're talking about the likes of Eovaldi, Mahle, DeGrom and company. These guys are slicing and dicing. They also do a phenomenal job of taking care of the baseball. One of the better defenses in the AL as well as baseball in general.
Well, Dallas, it's yet another test for this young A's club early on in the season. This time at home in West Sacramento, looking for a big division win here tonight. It's Patrick Corbin against Osvaldo Bido. A's and Rangers coming up next.
This telecast is brought to you by Toyota. Class-leading MPG and more hybrid models than any other brand. Toyota, let's go places. And by Cache Creek Casino Resort, Northern California's premier entertainment destination.
California, 71 degrees, 16-mile-per-hour winds as the Athletics have taken the field in their gold uniforms. But let's take a look at the Rangers lineup first, shall we? It starts with Josh Smith leading off and playing center field for the first time this year. Then Wyatt Langford and Corey Seager, followed by Adolis Garcia. Then Marcus Semien bats 5th, Jock Peterson 6th, Young, Berger, and Higashioka complete the order.
And it's the big right-hander from Los Hidalgos, República Dominicana, Osvaldo Bido, who has been slicing and dicing, folks, coming off another solid outing for the right-hander. That was against the Pale Hose, 5 2/3 strong, just 1 earned run allowed. And Osvaldo Bido is going to be squared off against an offense, Chris, for a team who pretty good success in the division. Maybe unconventional offensively how they've gone about it.
Well, first 2 pitches for Bido missed, 2 balls and no strikes. And you're absolutely right, very unconventional considering the offensive performance that the Rangers have put on this year. Here's the umpiring crew tonight. Behind the plate, Emil Jimenez at first is Doug Eddings, the crew chief. Mike Malinsky at second, and Gabe Morales is at third. 2-1 pitch is a touch too high, 2 balls and 2 strikes. (3-1) to Smith is a strike at the top of the zone, 3-2. Josh Smith, 378 in 45 at bats in 2025. 3-2 is high and away, and that's how we will start the game. Leadoff walk, and let's take a look at the A's defense behind Osvaldo Bido tonight. In left is Andujar, Bleday in center, Butler in right, Urshela and Soderstrom on the corners with Wilson and Urias up the middle with Shea Langoliers as the backstop.
There's a look at the backstop. Green and gold contrasting behind the plate.
Good color clash tonight.
Yeah.
It's Wyatt Langford, the former University of Florida product, ascended through the minors incredibly fast. Only played 1 game on the homestand last week where Texas played both LA teams, taking 4 of 6, including a 3-game sweep of the Angels. Now Langford will line it the other way and through for a hit. Charging is Butler, and advancing to second, Smith.
We're going to take a look at some of the tendencies of our man behind the plate this evening, and that fella is Emil Jimenez, brother of Edwin. Remember, he was behind the plate for the ball game on Thursday in Chicago. And our friend here, Emil, big strike zone, especially when you start to consider the lateral portion of the strike zone, side to side, east to west. So the ability to expand in and out is something we'll pay attention to this evening, really on both sides.
First pitch to Seager is grounded hard, backhanded by Soderstrom. Will go ahead at second. Wilson will eat the ball and put it in his back pocket. They do get the lead runner at second. Excuse me, they do get the runner at second, but it does advance Smith 90 feet to third. Now runners on the corners in the first out of the game.
And Tyler Soderstrom ranging well over to his right, little backhand, flips it over to Jacob Wilson. You can see Soda, he had to stretch out a little ways to go get that. And I think Jacob Wilson wisely making sure that you get one and there's no errant throw. No need to get aggressive here early.
So it's Adolis Garcia, 216 on the year. Obviously a boatload of power in the right side batter's box, and he'll swing on the first pitch, drop it into left field, and that will get off the wall and score the first run of the game. Pulling into third is Corey Seager, and Adolis Garcia, who has mashed with runners in scoring position, opens up the scoring early for Texas. It's 1-0.
Well, I think you've already gotten a look at what this lineup can do. And we talked about the unconventional way that the Rangers have gone about it coming into the ball game today, Chris. 29th when it comes to average runs per game. The Rangers already on the board here in the early go.
So the infield will come in against Semien. From the stretch, the first pitch, and Semien is waving and missing at a cutter. 0-1.
You're already seeing a very aggressive approach here from the Texas Rangers.
This is something that we've grown accustomed to here in West Sacramento early in the season. Now a ball and a strike, but Marcus Semien a little bit slower on the road this year, just a 100 average away from Globe Life Field in Texas. And of course a 141 average in the early goings of the season and 78 at bats. Tipped into Langeliers' glove, now 1-2.
Well, maybe part of that contributing to what we can call the lackluster offense. Here's the skipper, Bruce Bochy. Third season at the helm for the Rangers.
1-2 pitch, and that's driven to center field. Bleday is underneath. He will make the catch. Corey Seager is going to try and tag. He will score. It's cut off right in front of the pitcher's mound by Soderstrom, and a sacrifice fly RBI for Semien makes it 2-0 Rangers early.
Well, get them on, get them over, and they've gotten them in a couple times. Started with Smith in the leadoff walk. And the knock by Langford moves everybody up. Seager with the fielder's choice, and Adolis Garcia with the ringing double down the line. The productive outs so far.
Now it's Jock Peterson, fresh off of signing a 2-year contract with the Rangers. Has had a much slower start to his 2025 than even he's anticipated. 0 for his last 38.
Yeah, that is a bit of a skid.
Take a strike over the heart of the plate, 1-1. Hitless in his last 11 games. Went 0 for 12 on the homestand. Just not finding the outfield grass and then some for the last 10+ games. 1-1 and an awkward swing and miss. The slider gets strike 2.
Yeah, and it may just be a matter of a timing issue for Jock Peterson that has extended well beyond breaking camp. I mean, this is now starting to venture into, I mean, we're knocking on the door of the second month of the season.
See if Bideau can make it 0 for 39 for Peterson. 1-2 pitch. Fell back. Don't know how you get out of a streak like that.
Well, I can promise you that Jock Peterson has thought long and hard about it. You know, whether it's trying to put a ball on the ground, try to bunt your way on, you're doing anything you can to try to put the barrel on the baseball. You know, that's something else that you'll watch is Jock Peterson chasing, right? Fishing out of the zone. You start to press. You're just trying to get to anything you can.
Here's Bideau's 20th pitch of the inning. And it'll strike out Peterson, make it 0 for 39 for Jock. He strands Adolis Garcia at second, but the Rangers get two. It's 2-0. For the A's to answer back with their lineup, starting with Lawrence Butler. Leads off and plays right field. Then Brent Rooker and Tyler Soderstrom. That's the big three, followed by Shea Langeliers and Miguel Andujar. It's Bleday, Wilson, Urshela, and Urias to follow. So lefty on lefty, first pitch to Butler, and he will swing and foul it back 0-1.
Chris, you alluded to the aggressiveness that we have almost come to expect here in West Sacramento, and it's from both sides. We've seen the Athletics, unapologetically aggressive early in the ball game, and that's been the trend at home, on the road. But we have seen visiting clubs, I think, really exercise their right to get it going early.
One-two windup and pitch. Slider stays away. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The approach really hasn't changed much for the Athletics on the road either. They're finding their right pitch and they're driving it. This offense has looked good. They've been consistent. They've scored a lot of runs. Won 4 games on the road trip. Now 3 balls and 2 strikes. And I know that Darren Bush, Mark Kotze, Mike Eldreddy there have all had a hand in the success early on and being able to not only put guys on base but manufacture runs. 3-2 is fouled away.
Well, they've got a guy out on the mound today, big left-hander out of Clay, New York, Patrick Corbin, who I think, if this offense continues to mind its P's and Q's the way that you just outlined, they've got a guy out there on the mound that I think is very, very beatable.
And Butler has a great professional take at 3-2 and will get aboard the leadoff walk. Well, here's the Rangers defense tonight behind Patrick Corbin. It's Langford in left, Smith in center for the first time, Adolis Garcia in right with Young and Seager on the left side of the infield, the Gold Glover Marcus Semien at second, Jake Berger at first, and Kyle Higashioka behind the plate for the southpaw Patrick Corbin. So now Rooker against Corbin, and Brent is swinging on the first pitch. A low slider, 0-1, and that slider has been successful this year for Patrick Corbin. He's used it 32% of the time. Right side of the infield open, good lead for Butler with Berger holding him on. And Brent pops it up in foul ground, and Berger makes the catch for the first out.
Was able to crowd the big right-hander. And you mentioned that slider, Chris, first pitch slider, and obviously I think that's going to serve a couple purposes. Number one, can we get it going early? Can we throw this for strikes early? That's about him feeling that out, but also staying away from, as we've mentioned, the aggressiveness and just piping a first pitch fastball to Brent Rooker.
Soderstrom, Butler going. Throw down from Higashioka as a short hop, and Seager won't even have time to apply a tag. Butler loses his helmet, diving in head first, and steals second base.
Well, the Law Dog with a theft of his own. And it's a first move, quick jump. And for Corbin, a deliberate move to home. Not that slide step, so just enough time for Lawrence Butler to take off. And
bouncing ball to second. That'll move Butler over to third, and Semien retires Soderstrom, bringing up Langeliers. So 2 outs, and Shea Langeliers, who has loved hitting against lefties, is coming up.
Yeah, Langeliers .462 against southpaws so far. He's also done a great job of hitting in this position, runners in scoring position.
Semien playing behind second base, and the first pitch to Langeliers is a big cut, missing on a low slider, 0-1.
And there you go, first pitch slider, aggressive swing.
Patrick Corbin enjoying early success with Texas. Signed a one-year, $1.1 million contract with Texas in the middle of spring training on March the 18th because they needed lefty starting help. And boy, has he provided that in his first 2 starts.
Well, he sure has.
1-1 off the end of the bat. Another chance for Simeon. Reads it well, throws to first, and that will retire the side. So Butler gets to third, but cannot advance home. It's 2-0 Rangers through 1. Take the A's on the go this season and stream the games on the NBC Sports app, brought to you by Toyota. It's a beautiful day in West Sacramento. Good crowd on hand for the homestand opener against the Rangers.
It was a gorgeous day this afternoon. Yeah, I mean, this morning I got up, walked around by the river, had a great morning.
He's down 2 to the Rangers early. It's 7, 8, 9 coming up, starting with Josh Young. 280 on the year, but 3 for his last 27. That's kind of been the case for a lot of these Rangers hitters, is despite the fact of winning 4 of 6, it wasn't like they were doing it anything astounding offensively. They were just out pitching the Angels, of course, sweeping them in 3 games and then taking 1 of 2 against the Dodgers last series for the Rangers.
Well, and again, just to kind of put into context what we're talking about with the struggling offense of this Texas Ranger club. See that slider just straight down. Young Money coming up empty. But again, runs per game 3.05. That's 29th. Only the Royals are worse. And well, you gotta have guys on base, right? And you can see where they're at in terms of fewest runs scored, as we said.
3-2 chopper foul.
But you got to get guys on base if you're going to score runs. Well, that has also been an issue. Their collective on base percentage of .274. Well, only the White Sox are worse.
3-2 to Young is high, and Bideau has issued his 2nd straight leadoff walk to start an inning.
And that's another area where the Texas Rangers have struggled mightily this season. Their 6.1% walk rate, last in the American League, last in baseball.
Here's Jake Burger. The Rangers got him in December from Miami in exchange for prospects. Of course, the Rangers sent away Nathaniel Lowe to Washington, and Burger, who has historically been a great power hitter, the right side batter's box, now manning the position for Bruce Bochy's squad. Short lead for Young. The pitch home is a strike to Jake Burger. You were talking about not getting on base, not scoring many runs. .220 team average entering tonight's game is 25th in all of baseball. So they haven't really done much at all offensively. However, they find themselves 4 games above 500.
But it's when you start to think about how you're able to get to this point right now with what we will call the lack of production, it's it's just goes back to, you just got to score 1 more run than the other guy. Sometimes that's a 1-0 ball game. Sometimes those are blowout affairs. And for the Rangers, I think right now they've just been fortunate enough to be on the right side of some solid pitching performances from their starters. They've been able to cash in offensively at the right time.
In this division, Dallas, you now have 2 teams that have had slower starts offensively, but really good pitching numbers. Texas and Seattle.
Yeah.
Two to Burger, fouled out of play.
And I think that's probably something that has given folks some optimism about where the Athletics fit into this division and where they fit in competitively. Is this just a division that's already chalked up to a couple of these teams at the top, or is there a fighting chance here?
From the stretch, the 2-2 pitch. caught a piece of his bat, and Berger will see another. To me, and I know it's early on, Dallas, but it just seems like this A's team might be a little bit more balanced as compared to pitching heavy or hitting heavy. They seem to do a good number of things right, but still trying to have a complete mastery of those things. 2-2 check swing. Did he go around? He did not.
Oh.
And it looked close. Doug Eddings waved the safe side. Now it's 3-2 to Berger.
Well, let's take a peek from the side here. This will tell us. Dougie, we got to talk. Yeah, he did.
(3-2). Berger gets in the air to center. Bleday drifts back, now comes in and makes the catch. And now a word by Visit Humboldt.
Legends suggest locals here have been cultivating the most idyllic getaway destination for centuries. Although Mother Nature has been on the job much longer, no doubt.
So Kyle Higashioka comes up on a 3-game hitting streak, signed with Texas in the offseason, a 2-year, $13.5 million deal after a very big year offensively in some respects. He's first pitch swinging, and it's a high pop-up. Who's going to get it? Soderstrom or Urias? It's the second baseman behind the pitcher's mound making the catch. So 2 outs for Bideau, and he'll turn it over to the top of the order with Josh Smith, who walked and scored the team's first run last inning.
And you got to like the fact that Bideau has just gone back out here in this second inning and continued to attack the strike zone, not letting those 2 runs early get to him.
Josh Smith, the rover, all around the diamond, making his first start in center field of the year. By trade, a shortstop, played a little bit of third base last year when Josh Young went down with injury. Can play second as well. He's played a number of the infield positions. Now the 0-1 will go inside out and lift it to left on Duhar. Makes the catch, and that will retire the side. A scoreless second for Bideau. It's 2-0 Rangers. A's fans win the ultimate Vegas getaway at the end of every A's homestand during the 2025 season. Brought to you by Circa Resort and Casino. Well, it's 2-0 Rangers in the bottom of the second on Duhar, Bleday, and Wilson to come up, and Miguel tomahawks the first pitch foul to make it 0-1 against Patrick Corbin. As you said before, Dallas, Corbin at times can be a very beatable pitcher should you get to him. And Andujar swings again, top spinning a foul, 0-2.
And things have, I mean, look, either way you slice it, things have not been great for a while for Patrick Corbin, but I think specifically on the road there has been struggles. Not a quality start to be found in each of the last 8 road starts. And those numbers over the last 17, 6.78 ERA, that tells you things have just not gone well, but to the tune of being beatable. From 2021 to 2025, 63 losses under his belt. The next most amount of losses, 46.
It's a big gap.
Well, that's a big gap, but again, from 2021 to 2025, minimum 500 innings pitched, his 5.69 ERA, that's the highest. The 830 hits allowed, the most.
2-2 on Duhar. He lifts it to deep left. Langford going back at the track, at the wall, and Duhar leaves the building and makes it 2-1 Rangers.
Right on cue.
Make that a 4-game hitting streak for Andujar, his second home run of the year, and the A's are on the board in the second.
And it felt like it's just been a matter of time. Matter of time before that consistency starts to show up.
that swing, JJ wanted to go back-to-back. That's the power that we were hoping to start to see from Andujar in his first at-bat back at home after the road trip. He leaves the building.
And Chris, that's also now the 124th home run allowed by Patrick Corbin since 2021. And if you guessed, you are correct. That is the most home runs allowed during that time frame.
0-2 to Bleday, and he'll wave and miss at a low slider. So a good response by Corbin after giving up that home run to Andujar.
Well, able to get back on track there against the left-hander, but not before Andujar able to throw the hands at this slider. And this pitch, I mean, this is probably maybe a little further away than it is middle, but Miggy able to get out around it, put a great swing on it. Take another peek, take a listen. Got him. Little helicopter finish. Shades of Hiram Boca Chica.
It's Jacob Wilson on a 5-game hitting streak, now taking in 2-0.
Look, hit it well. Langford doing his best to climb the wall and leap. Makes a nice little barehanded catch. That's not going to count for nothing, though.
Jacob will take a strike, but you were talking about Patrick Corbin from 2021 to 2025. I want to turn the clocks back a little bit further to 2019. The last time Patrick Corbin had a sub-4 ERA in a season. And that season, as there's a nice play by Emar on the third base side, he went 14-7, having a 3.25 ERA and won a World Series.
Well, I mean, and look, you go back the year before, we're talking about a guy who finished top 5 in the Cy Young voting. So 2 outstanding years back to back for the lefty.
2-2 and a rare Jacob Wilson strikeout. And it's not like Corbin's been injured. He's gone out there every 5th day, mostly since 2017. So the real question is, what happened?
Well, that's where it's, I think, a matter of stuff. And I think at times it's just a matter of how the league has adjusted to you, and maybe the lack of adjustments that you've been able to make. Because again, I think you go back and you start to look at how things have shaped up really since the COVID year. And from there, I think things have taken a big turn. You know, but to the point of a clean bill of health, I mean, this is a guy who's posting up. You know, you go to 2018 or 2017, 32 starts, 18, 33 starts, 19, 33 starts.
0-2 to Urshela, swings high and fouls it away.
So I mean, you can go all the way back, Chris, 2017, and really 2016 is the first time or the last time he did not make at least 31 starts. That's remarkable. But again, you start to look at how some of those seasons finished up and how they unfolded. As you mentioned, not an ERA under 4.
Now he's here with Texas and looking like the Patrick Corbin of old. Small sample size, I know, but still, good start for him. 1-2 to Urshela is in the dirt, kept in front by Higashioka. This is a guy who's 35 years old, has seen everything that you could possibly see as a starter in the big leagues, has a World Series trophy. Obviously one of, at one point, the top pitchers in the National League. 2-2, bouncing ball up the middle. Charging is Seager, throwing across the diamond, and that will end the second inning, but not before Miguel Andujar leaves the building for the second time this year. Bang! It's 2-1 Rangers after that swing. Well, the A's got a run last inning thanks to that man Miguel Andujar exiting the building for the second time this year. Now 2-1 the Rangers lead. They're up again in the top of the third inning. Chris Carey, Dallas Braden here in beautiful West Sacramento as Wyatt Langford takes outside for ball one. He singled in the 2-run first for Texas. Now he's up again in the third and lifting a high drive to left, twisting and turning is on Duhar. He can't do anything about that, and Langford has homered to reclaim the 2-run lead for Texas. It's 3-1.
Well, this slider here, you can see it just start to back up and work its way back to the middle. And Langford has liftoff.
First pitch strike to Corey Seager. First 2 innings started with a leadoff walk. First yielding a run because of that. And then, of course, the second run after the Adolis Garcia double. Second inning, another leadoff walk. And then the third inning, a leadoff solo home run for Langford. Now Seager sends it in the air to center, but Blade has a beat on it, making the catch. Some big news today, Dallas.
Yeah. Curtsey, take a bow. Young man out of Lancaster, PA, who has just been lighting the minor leagues aflame. Well, he's here in the big leagues, and you see those numbers there. Big power hitting left-handed first baseman who, conversation around him defensively projects there very well could be some hardware in his future with just how adept he is at the position. And I think there's, and understandably so, some questions about how that may go, not only with him, but some other folks in the lineup that you're going to have to probably get creative with.
A one bouncing ball, and Urshela to his left, throws to first. 2 down. Well, here's a good look of Nick Kurtz arriving at the airport. There's Mark Ling and checking out the A's clubhouse for the first time. Getting his own locker.
Welcome home.
And as it seemed throughout his 32-game minor league career, he is cool, calm, and collected and ready to go. It's Semien now, popping it back foul.
Well, we got to watch him take BP earlier today, and I was up here in the booth watching, and at one point in time there was a round to BP, and I actually was able to get footage of it, but he hit a ball that well cleared the batter's eye in center field, and then 2 pitches later hit one that almost cleared that building right there. 9-time world champs, this building right there, yeah, over it. And it's effortless. That's what I think kind of captures your attention, is you watch him move and you just watch the ball jump off the bat. It is impressive, to say the least.
3-1 to Semien is a called strike.
I mean, I can remember when Curtsey came down from big league camp and he came over on the minor league side. And I'm sitting up in the tower, kind of just moving around between diamonds and watching our pitchers. And Semien will take ball 4. But he hit a ball that I think everybody in the complex heard, and only if you were staring at the field and for a very short amount of time were you going to be able to track this ball, because it just disappeared over the training complex, over the clubhouse. And look, when you hit balls over everything, you're going to capture some attention.
Johnny Dosko said that Nick Kurtz has what you would call country strength, despite being from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Just that big, strong frame. Really able to give the baseball a ride. Today's social poll question presented by Toyota is, how many home runs will Nick Kurtz hit this season? Is it 0 to 10, 11 to 20, or 20 or more? Scan the QR code to vote now.
Right there, 20 or more. 20 or more.
That might be the easiest one we've had so far this year.
Yeah, book it.
1-1. Peterson gets it high in the air to right. Butler coming in, and he's got it to end the top of the third. Langford homers to make it 3-1 Rangers. We see the A's bats again.
Mom and dad were first call out. Absolutely. That was probably the coolest moment for me, just being able to tell them and just seeing all the hard work come to fruition. I was taking classes less than 12 months ago, so coming into this, I'm just trying to be where my feet are, be present in the moment, and just enjoy every single second of it.
That was Nick Kurtz talking about who he called first after being told he got called up. Foul ball by Urias. It's 3-1 Texas here in the bottom of the third inning. Such a special moment for him, and he's right. He was taking classes at Wake Forest a year ago, and now he's in the big leagues after, well, at that point, it will be 283 days from the time that his name was called. It's the 4th overall pick of the 2024 Major League Draft.
I mean, how about it? From book reports to the big leagues.
1-1, Urias gets it in the air to center. First chance for Smith. Nick Kurtz on expectations for himself in 2025.
Consistent hitter and kind of being an all-around hitter as well, being able to walk, get on base, hit for power to all fields. I think that's just something that you can always improve on. No one's ever just perfect at all of those, so just fine-tuning all of those things together. All the personal accolades to get to this point, that's what I did. And now it's about, can we win at this level? Can we win every single day? That's what I hope to bring, is just do something every single day to help the team win.
DB, what wasn't fully shown in that entire press conference with him is how much he articulated his desire to win. It was first and foremost out of pretty much every response. Oda Butler is outside, and it was most every question. It was not, hey, I want to do this individually. I came here to win. I want to win. We are going to win. This is what makes Nick Kurtz tick.
Well, why else do you get up in the morning? And I think that's the mentality that you have to have. And it has clearly served him well to this point. And that's all part of growing with a group. And we've seen part of the core here do that.
Fly ball deep right center field. Smith on the run at the track, at the wall, and Butler has left the building. Butler mixes it up around the base paths, his 3rd home run of the year. It's run number 2 of the game for the A's. And back and forth we go. It's 3-2 Rangers now.
I mean, that sounded crispy coming off the bat of the Law Dog.
You're going to see some big swings against Corbin, especially here. You already seen 2 big ones. First pitch swinging, chopped to the right side. Semien to his left. Corbin covers and makes the play. A 4-1 putout for the second out.
Let's go back to the homer from Lawrence Butler. Fastball up and out. Special delivery. A barrel from the Butler. Law Dog just taking a bite out of the heater.
And Soderstrom now bounced out to second, his only time up. Infield will play him to pull. Tyler has loved hitting against left-handed pitching early this year. He'll take outside 1-0. 313 with a homer and 3 RBIs against lefties entering play tonight. Obviously a league best 9 home runs on the year. When we talk about Nick Kurtz and we talk about where Nick Kurtz will fix into the lineup, likely at first base, Tyler Soderstrom will never get enough credit for transitioning from catcher to first when there was a need, and now transitioning to another position as there will be a need there now.
Well, that's where the selflessness of Tyler Soderstrom comes into play. You talk about Nick Kurtz saying, I want to win. Well, you're going to need people in the building that have that same mentality, and Tyler Soderstrom has signed up to essentially be the water boy if you need him to. If that means that everybody can be in the lineup and everybody has an opportunity to produce with regularity. Soderstrom doesn't care where he's at. He just wants to be in the lineup. He just wants to win as well.
3-1 to Soderstrom. And he goes inside out to left. It's hanging in the air, and it is foul.
Well, not by much did he miss this extra base hit. Just a few feet. Oh, so close. But how about this? As far as the expected slug, 95th percentile. Launch angle sweet spot, 94th percentile. Barrel rate, 93rd. I mean, it just goes on and on. All a byproduct of absolutely crushing the baseball.
Hey, we're not talking about a guy who's a slouch at the plate either. We're talking about one of the best hitters in the game this year. Moving off of a position that he's been learning, a position that he's looked comfortable at for the betterment of the team.
Oh, there's no question that what Tyler Soderstrom has experienced in terms of growth at first base has been fantastic.
3-2 bouncing ball foul. And it's not like Tyler is going to fully give up the position. They're going to work around it. There's going to be some DH days for Soderstrom, for Kurtz, for Andujar, for Rooker. You might see Rooker in the outfield a little bit more. Soderstrom hasn't completely given up the catcher's gear either. It is a very good problem to have. 3-2 and an awkward swing and miss. A sinker does Soderstrom in, but Lawrence Butler hits a solo home run to right center. A berm bomb to make it 3-2 Rangers through 3 innings of play. With Xfinity, the Wi-Fi is booming. Stream every pitch with Grand Slam power when you connect hundreds of devices at once. Speaking of booming, that's how this game has been through the first 3 innings of play. Already 3 homers hit between these two teams. Homer from Langford, homers from Andujar and Butler. On the good guys' side, it's 3-2 Rangers as we're in the 4th. And Bideau out there for his 4th inning of work. 2 runs against him in the 1st, then 1 in the 3rd. And it's Young, Berger, and Higashioka. Slow rolling ground ball to short. Rounding it is Wilson. Throws to first, and 1 is down.
And you like to see that from Bideau. You continue to chip away and put a run up on the board. You got to get back out there and you got to continue to attack. You know, and that's something that Bideau has done a really good job of, Chris, is funnel strikes early. He's also done a good job of avoiding that long ball.
To center. Bleday breaks back. Now back pedals and makes the catch. 2 down.
Fans, you know this is a one-of-a-kind giveaway. It is a, dare I say, slam dunk. Presented by Red Hawk Resort and Casino. Grab your very own A's basketball jersey this Saturday when the White Sox come to town. Don't miss your shot to rep the 916 by visiting athletics.com/tickets.
So 2 quick outs for Bideau in the top of the 4th, and it's the right-handed hitting catcher Kyle Higashioka taking strike 1. This guy enjoyed a lovely season in 2024 with San Diego. Yes, did he hit for average? Just a few ticks above the Mendoza line, but he had 17 home runs, and that earned him a nice payday with the Rangers as Higashioka will back up Jonah Heim.
Yeah, and I think that is probably where the importance comes in.
Off the end of the bat, slow rolling ground ball to short. Wilson there. The throw to first is perfect, and a 1-2-3 inning for the first time for Bideau in his start. It's 3-2 Rangers.
MVP voting last year, went home with a Silver Slugger award. There with his beautiful family enjoying the acknowledgement before the ball game. And Chris, typically when you receive that kind of award, when you receive that kind of acknowledgement, it doesn't stop there. And if you were to ask a lot of folks, you know, is there something else coming? Their heads might be bobbling, yes.
3-2 the score. Texas leads. It's Langoliers, Andujar, and Blade. And yeah, there are some nice things that can happen if you put together a career year like Brent Rooker did. And everybody wins. Everybody gets a gift.
That's it.
Swing and a miss on a low slider, 0-2.
Well, I think when a performance like that takes center stage, it's good to give everybody a look. I think from all angles at the work you've done.
And because Brent Rooker has the power that he does, it's almost as if you're counting one after another of his home runs. How many can he get? 0-2, line drive. Off the leaping glove of Semien. He played it perfectly. Clips off of his glove and into center. Langoliers reaches.
Well, I've been telling you, you think I'm a liar? You can start your own 2025 collection with the Brent Rooker bobblehead. Head to the ballpark on Sunday, June 8th, and we play the Baltimore Orioles. We hope to see you there. This one-of-a-kind bobblehead is a home run counter edition, celebrating Rooker's 2024 Silver Slugger Award win. Secure your limited edition Rooker bobblehead by visiting athletics.com/promotions. And it's not just any old bobblehead. Oh, no, no, no. Some of those will make their way into the mix. So, can't guarantee everyone gets a Silver Slugger edition bobblehead. But the best way to up your odds are for you to come on out to the ballpark.
So what's the song? I've got a Silver Rooker. I've got a Silver Rooker in my box.
Is that how that?
Well, I just, you know, I thought it was. I was totally on key.
Did you just write that?
1-1. Yeah, I'm very original. What, do you get anything if you get the Silver Rooker?
I don't know. I'd like to think so. I mean, do you get to come down and, hey, I got a silver one. Do I get to go and, like, do I get an at-bat? How does that work?
I don't know if that's necessary. An at-bat against Mason Miller. Let's make it fun. Let's make it interesting.
I can tell you that's no fun.
1-2 to Andujar, and he's called out for strike number 3 on a delayed strike 3 call by Jimenez. 1 away.
Well, there are exactly 2,024 fans that very well may be able to get their hands on that Silver Edition home run counter Brent Rooker bobblehead. Again, 2,024 available.
Pitch outside to J.J. Blade, 1 ball and no strikes. So you could be one of those lucky 2,024 fans to walk away with a Silver Rooker bobblehead. Today struck out swinging, but he has looked nice against lefties to start early in 2025. Short lead for Langoliers. The pitch to Blade is the first strike, 1-1.
Well, just sort of mentioned this a couple days ago, talking about Soderstrom and his approach to the left-handers, and I think Blade echoed something similar. You know, when just saying what's required of you to face the left-hander. You got to stay in there a little longer. Got to keep that front side closed and committed a little longer, and that's just because you don't want to give up on a breaking ball. And if that slider is tightly spun, that's something that you have to stay on a while. We've seen some awkward swings from left-handers.
He lays off a breaking ball, 3 balls and 1 strike. You know, despite some early swings, the A's have been patient against Patrick Corbin. You harken back to Lawrence Butler's leadoff first inning walk. They're swinging at strikes in the zone, and so far they've looked good. Langoliers breaking for second, a swing and a miss. Throw down to second base is late. As it short hops Seager again. He had to recover the baseball and then swipe the tag, but by then Langoliers was in diving headfirst safely.
How about the old backstop getting on those getaway sticks? It's a great jump from old Langoliers. See him tuck that oven mitten in just under the tag. Atta babe.
Certainly saw a lot of stolen bases on Sunday in Milwaukee, and he said, might as well get a part of the fun in the homestand opener. As Corbin misses outside, JJ works the walk and now passes the baton to Jacob Wilson. Wilson, a rare strikeout to his name to start game one. On a 5-game hitting streak, went 8 for 21 on the road trip. 2 doubles and 2 RBIs. Now has runners on first and second and 1 out with the tying run in Shea Langoliers at second base.
Well, and with that walk to J.J. Bleday, Jake Burger will be able to play off the bag, and you can see where he's positioned. And the reason I bring that up is because of the great job we've seen Jacob Wilson do shooting a hole on the right side.
First pitch, bouncing ball to third. A short hop by Young. Digs it out. Throw to second. On to first. And Wilson is able to beat the wrap and avoid a double play. So scored a 5-4 fielder's choice play, but a nifty dig by Young at third.
Well, I think Young, you can see as he starts to come through this, thought just briefly about maybe heading over to the bag and stepping on it, but then thought to himself, I might be able to get 2 outs here for the price of 1 pitch. So he slings it on over to Simeon, but the hustle from Jacob Wilson down the line, combined with what I think was just that split-second thought about heading to third, was enough to buy time. Jay Willie able to beat it out.
It's Urshela now. A double, a triple, and 4 RBIs on the road. The right side wide open with a big Wilson lead. And Gio swinging and missing. And a very vertically dropping slider, 0-1.
Back.
Think he heard you?
In spirit.
He knew what to do. So Gio has been much better over his last 7, 261 with 7 RBIs. Try and make it 8 here. He finds the right pitch, but that one's outside. Has 8 on the season. Of course, could make it 8 RBIs over his last 8 games. And 9 overall if he finds a hole. Tipped into Higashioka's glove. That might have been the pitch to drive.
Yeah.
Dead red cutter.
A little cutter elevated there. Well, let's see if he decides to try to wrap this slider around the back foot of Urshela. Does he stick with the fastball?
1-2 and an air to right. Adolis Garcia moves over and makes the catch, and that will retire the side. A's strand runners on the corners, and the Rangers still lead by 1 through 4. The 2025 All-Star Teacher Award presented by Provident Credit Union. Go to NBCSportsCalifornia.com/AST or scan the QR code to check out Greg Martin of Sylvia Mendez Elementary School in Berkeley, as well as the other finalists, and vote for your All-Star Teacher. The grand prize winning teacher's school will receive $30,000. Vote now. Top of the 5th, top of the order. 1, 2, and 3, starting with Josh Smith, who's 0 for 1 with a walk, a run scored, and a fly out to left. Gio will play in at third, and Smith takes a 2nd consecutive ball. You know, not a lot of people will talk about the efforts of Josh Smith in 2024, what he was able to do all over the diamond. Now playing in center field for the first time in 2025. I mean, he has served so many different roles for this Texas Rangers club, and at one point was an up and down guy, kind of caravanning back and forth from AAA Round Rock to the major league level.
Oh, I mean, that is a great pitch from Bideau. And the utilitarian able to hold up.
3-1, short, compact windup in the pitch is a high drive to right. Butler breaking back at the track and at the wall. Makes a good effort on it, but Josh Smith homers for the 2nd time this year, and back in front by 2 are the Rangers. It's 4-2.
And coming into the ball game, it had just been 1 home run surrendered by Bideau. Now the 2nd tonight. But lefty with count leverage. Fastball that just swings back middle. He just stood up on it.
4 homers tonight, 2 for each club, all of the solo variety. This man Wyatt Langford had a solo home run his last at bat in the 3rd. He's 2 for 2.
Well, let's revisit the long ball if we must. That hanging slider, Langford jumped all over it. And you know, Chris, I think that's why there's sort of been some head scratching going on around this offense. Is you find yourself at the top, near the top of the division, but you've kind of gone about it in a way where the offense hasn't been the catalyst. And we've talked about the pitching, the starting rotation that has done a lot of the heavy lifting, keeping them in ball games. But that's exactly what an offense who might be struggling to find their identity needs, is just an opportunity to hit that long ball.
Well, you're seeing the way that Langford is swinging. The intent is to hit a home run on every pitch. He wailed on this one.
Oh. Take a moment here to regroup.
Two, swing and a miss.
Oh.
Good changeup gets Langford. So good response by Bideau on that changeup.
Oh, outstanding changeup, and for a couple reasons. One, I think the arm speed, phenomenal, and that's why you get the life on the pitch that you do. But the fact that Langford is far enough out in front of this, and this pitch is a strike in the zone with depth.
That's hitting the hole and into right field. A first pitch swing by Seager. He quietly gets aboard with a 1-out knock.
But I think that's also a good sign. You know, you surrender the long ball to Smith, and you've got to get right back in the fight here. And Langford, you're able to execute a pitch that you are going to continue to need to develop and continue to need to utilize. And the fact that Bideau is doing so is just another sign of his progression.
Garcia doubled in a run in the 2-run first inning and is up again. He's 1 for 2. You know, it is interesting. You look at the man at first base in Corey Seager and entering play tonight. Corey Seager is the only Texas Ranger who has played 20+ games to carry an average above 220. Now that has since, of course, gone up with the way they've hit the baseball early, but that's pretty remarkable considering a 13-9 team. Especially with the type of power and consistency that they've been able to structure their lineup with for a number of years. This is a World Series club just a few years ago. Slower, stagnant offensively. Scored 4 runs in the early going off of 5 hits here tonight. The stretch deals Bideau, the 1-1. Fouled back.
Well, I think Garcia, you know, you look at how things went a few years ago. You go back to 2023. Pretty good go. 39 homers, over 100 RBI. And last year, I think a bit of a drop off. 25 homers, 85 RBI. We're talking about the difference between a 4.5 win player in 2023 to a sub-1 win player.
2-2, line drive, and it's off of the diving glove of Urshela, leaking into left. Urshela had the ground covered, but just couldn't haul it in at the last second. And it's another hit for Adolis Garcia, putting Seager on second.
Yeah, and I think as we watch this replay, you're going to see Gio lay out for this ball, but you can see Garcia kind of hook around it. And yeah, you see where that ball hits the glove of Urshela, kind of right above the thumb. And when, as an infielder, you start to work your way down to the ground, and you have to think about extending after the play. You have to think about ball flight.
meeting on the mound is brought to you by the injury attorneys of Ashton and Price.
And so if you've got a guy that is hooked at baseball, that ball is going to start working its way back towards you as the third baseman. And I mean, hit hard enough, it's tough to judge right in that moment. So Gio looking to lay out, probably got a little crowded with that ball working its way back towards him. You see Mitch Spence start to loosen up. Noah Murdoch, little self-help on the neck there.
Osvaldo needs one of those famous A's 2 balls you always talk about. 1 ball and no strikes to Semien. He's 0 for 1 with a walk. Did have a sacrifice fly. Excuse me. He has not recorded an at-bat. Sacrifice fly and a walk. Beg your pardon. Bounce it over on the third base side. Heads up. Everybody got out of the way.
I think that caught Sevy. He'll be all right. Here's Medina to the right of Sevier, to his left, excuse me. Ricochet.
One ground ball rolled over foul. Nothing but a little love tap on the backside for Severino. Probably felt the same as you get one from your skipper after a great start.
There you go.
And boy, did he have a great start his last time out in Milwaukee.
Cool. A sparkler.
1-2 to Semien. Poked back foul. So was Spence getting warm? Now Jose Leclerc is in the bullpen. 82 pitches for Osvaldo Bido. You'd love to see him get out of the 5th with no more damage against him than what has already been done this inning. 1-2. That's a high drive to left center. Bleday on the run. He's still going, and it is gone. From 4-2 to now 7-2. Marcus Semien has his 2nd home run of the year, and RBIs 8, 9, and 10 on the year. A 4 RBI night so far for Semien, and you can see the smile on his face. He was needing that one.
Well, he was needing it, and he's back a little closer to home, so he's always looking to perform here. He sends this one towards Natomas.
First pitch strike to Peterson. Now 0 for his last 40, going 0 for 2 in the early goings of today's game. A strikeout and a flyout. Field will play him to pull. And softly line to first. He can't buy a hit right now. Soderstrom right there to make the catch.
Now 0 for 41, longest streak in franchise history. So definitely not the way that Jock Peterson was looking to start the campaign.
It's Young now, taking outside, 1 ball and no strikes. So big night offensively for Texas. Their biggest inning so far, a 4-run 5th. Bido looking for the final out. It's a bouncing ball to third. Waiting back is Gio. Backhand throw to first, and stretching is Soderstrom to end the damage. 4 more runs come in to score for the Rangers. They lead by 5.
Fans, you need to check out A's Cast Live. Tune into our daily live sports talk show hosted by the hero, Chris Townsend, and of course, Commander Cody. Now streaming on the A's YouTube channel at youtube.com/athletics and A's Cast Twitter at AthleticsCast24 ahead of every weekday evening ball game.
The hero and the commander. I like it. Luis Urias is up. The A's in a deficit, but that's a good start. Punching one to left. Urias will stay at first with a leadoff single. So you see the scoreboard, 7-2. The Rangers scored 4 in the 5th inning. Urias gets aboard.
Well, and Chris, that's something that the Rangers have not been able to do at all this season. Not one time until tonight have they scored 7 or more runs in a game. And there's still some meat left on this bone.
Ballpark like this, the way it's played at times, you're not out of a game.
Nope, no lead is really safe.
And it's not like the A's have been hitting particularly poorly either. 2 runs off of 4 hits, both of those 2 runs being solo home runs. One of them coming from this man, Lawrence Butler, in the 3rd inning.
Well, that's something that this offense has done. I mean, they're 4th in baseball when it comes to slugging percentage as a group. Well, time now for StatCast, powered by Google Cloud. The anatomy of a long ball. 106 off the bat, 419 feet away. And it was 3 left turns for the Law Dog. Little tiptoe. Zone 4, stand up.
1-2, inside out, high fly ball to left. Retreating is Langford, and he makes the catch right before the warning track. 1 down. Johnny and I were talking about this on the radio at times against the Brewers, is you don't always have to get them back all at once.
Right.
And you can chip away, especially against a guy like Patrick Corbin that historically over the last 5 or 6 years has not had his best stuff. That can resurface at any point in time, I would think, especially against a high octane offense like the A's. First pitch to Brent, and the Silver Slugger Award winner for 2024 swings through a slider 0-1.
I always just try to remind myself that there's nothing preventing our team from having the same type of moment that we just watched the opposing team have.
0-1 back up the middle and through for a base hit. Brent poked the bat head out and got it through for his first hit of the night. Now runners on 1st and 2nd with Soderstrom coming up.
Well, there's that curveball. Patrick Corbin trying to sneak it through the back door. And Brent Rooker maybe slightly out in front, but still very well balanced, all things being equal. And I can't repeat what. Oh, Brent Rooker is a peach. An absolute gem.
It's Soderstrom now, left side open. Infield playing him to pull, and he eyes the left side, fouling it away into the seats. 0-1. Tyler 0 for 2, a ground out and a strikeout to his name, as there is some activity starting in the Rangers bullpen.
Looks like
Right-hander Sean Armstrong.
Yep.
Seager playing behind second base. The 0-1 to Tyler. Little flare into center, but retreating is Seager, making the catch over his shoulder for the 2nd out. Well, what you don't want to do is put a runner in scoring position and not capitalize down 5 runs. Any chance that you get to bring someone home, you got to find a way. But they're going to have to do it against someone different, as it seems like Bruce Bochy.
No, I think what's going to happen here, Chris, they're going to talk about it, right? They need to make sure that they have a good feel for who is at the plate right now and how they want to go into attacking them. That's what's bringing Mike Maddox out right now is, hey, to your point that you made earlier, Chris, there's no lead safe here. And you've got a man right now in old Bangaliers who can bring that gap to within 2 with just 1 swing of the bat. So I think it's all in all probably a good time to have that meeting for Maddox and Corbin and company, just to make sure that they're not getting a little too far ahead of themselves here. And they don't want to feed the beast here with a 5 spot.
Shea had a hard line single off the glove of Simeon an inning ago. Outfield will play deep against a power hitting righty with Rios at second, Rooker at first, each collecting a single. First pitch is in the dirt, blocked by Higashioka. 1-0.
And that right there, that's how that conversation went. Hey, let's start them off slow, see if we can get ahead, spin a quality breaking ball for strike 1, and we'll see if we can start to expand and where we can go from there. Falling behind in this situation, less than ideal.
So Langoliers now ahead at 2-0. Pitch dropped too low for his liking. Shea, you talk about all of his attributes, what he can do defensively, what he can do with the bat. Very good high ball hitter.
Well, let's see if Corbin has to give it and goes fastball. Does he put a little wrinkle in it with that slider? He tried. Oh. And that's what's tough if you're Langoliers. You've just done a great job of separating balls from strikes. There are 3 pitches in a row. Not rewarded there. Yep.
And then what happens is it allows Corbin to get back into the count there.
Well, not only get back into the count, but instead of having to go fastball, you're now 2-1. You feel pretty confident that you can dot that slider up. It's a pitch that he's had great feel for this evening anyway. And now if you're Patrick Corbin, you're right back in this at bat.
Long look in for Corbin to throw his 82nd pitch. 2 on and 2 out. The 2-2 pitch. Bouncing ball to third. Young will go to second, and that will end the 5th inning of offense for the A's. They come up empty-handed, and the Rangers still lead by 5 at 7-2.
This telecast is brought to you by Planet Orange. Effective, eco-friendly pest control.
Good look at the Tower Bridge. Beautiful at night here in West Sacramento. First pitch swinging is Jake Burger lifting it high in the air to center. Blade goes back at the track, at the wall, and it's gone. It just kept carrying. And one pitch for Jake Burger to see in the 6th makes it an 8-2 game. Dallas.
Well, he just, I think off the bat, you weren't quite sure. Didn't think that it was hit that well. But unfortunately, just enough mustard on it for Burger.
So now 8-2 Texas, a big advantage for the Rangers. Of course, A's have not capitalized well with runners in scoring position. Their 2 runs have come solo home runs by Andujar and Butler. Have to straighten that out. Final 4 offensive frames of the game to get back into this one. Higashioka bouncing ball up the middle. To his left is Wilson. Spin throw to first, and it's dug out by Soderstrom. Somehow Jacob Wilson is able to make a play out of nothing.
Well, and you got a lot of things going for you right there. Jacob Wilson, who's got a great arm. He's a good athlete. Time now for our All-State Good Hands play of the day. Jay Willie right on cue. That is a heck of a play. And another great job on the back end here by Tyler Soderstrom to stretch out and dig it out. Help out the shortstop. That is just a phenomenal effort on both fronts.
So Bideau's day is done. When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service. Trouble light on? We can fix that. Get all your highlights, analyses, live updates, and more. Everything an athletics fan needs. The NBC Sports California app. Download now. Well, it's 8-2 Rangers here, and TJ McFarland into the game in place of Osvaldo Bideau. 11th appearance for TJ. Gonna tick that ERA down a bit. And Smith goes inside out to deep left. Run on Duhar, moving over, makes the running catch over his shoulder. Seemed like he might have had a little bit more room to close it down, but almost mid-stride makes the catch on the warning track.
Well, and something that I think folks will come to learn about this ballpark is the wind that swirls here can definitely have an impact. There's the line for the right-hander, 5 1/3, 8 hits, as many earned runs, and it was the 4 homers allowed. You know, for a guy, as I mentioned, coming into tonight's ball game, who had yielded just 1.
Doesn't help that the wind is blowing out now, Dallas. Wyatt Langford cracks one to center on a low liner. And Ledet plays it off of his chest. Langford thought about taking advantage, but will settle for just a single. That ball kick off the turf.
Yeah, well, Chris, something that we will continue to see develop over the summer, and definitely as this ballpark in this area starts to warm up a bit, I think the surface, the playing surface, is something that will definitely come into play. You know, I know this crew has already done a fantastic job, the grounds crew, of keeping this place in shape and in condition, understanding there's going to be a lot of ball games played at this ballpark here. And I think that's a relationship that has to work in concert, not only from the maintenance perspective, but also from the staff, the players.
On one, back up the middle, but Jacob Wilson plays the short hop well. The race is on, and Wilson wins it at second base. A nice play by Jacob Wilson. It looks like they're not going to take a look at that play, but two really good plays this inning by Jacob Wilson at shortstop. And the one-run six for the Rangers. They now lead 8-2. Famer right there behind home plate. Former manager and player, World Series champion Dusty Baker. And before we could even give Dusty Baker his roses, Miguel Andujar laces a single up the middle for a leadoff base hit. You know, Dallas, we were so lucky to have dinner with Steve Sachs last night. Johnny, me, Ken, Commander Cody, Dusty Baker was there just randomly in fishing gear and gave us about an hour, 2 hours of his time talking about hitting and his stories. And to see him here is very heartwarming.
He is just an incredible ambassador for the game, and not only an incredible ambassador, but a man who will be rewarded with his effort on the baseball field, not only as a player but as a manager, with what I assume is a trip to Cooperstown. And to have him a part of
Ledet in the air to right field, that's gonna get down and to the wall. Andujar rumbling around second. He will stop at third, and JJ, the doubles machine, puts him on second and third with nobody out.
Well, the green and gold said, we will not go quietly into that good night. We're going to make a little noise here. Miggy leads it off with a rocket up the middle, and JJ Bleday, baby, able to tuck a double down this right field line.
So now and only now, Bruce Bochy will go to the bullpen. Day is done for Patrick Corbin after surrendering 2 hits here in the bottom of the 6th inning. They'll go to a right-hander. When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service. Trouble light on? We can fix that.
Podcast is brought to you by Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. It's time for the beach. Buy your ride wristbands and season passes online and save up to $20 per person.
We're back. 8-2 the score. The Rangers lead. There was some interesting stuff that happened to Corey Seager to end the top of the 6th inning as he's coming out of the box. Look at this, Dallas.
Yeah, a little pull up, and you can see him reach right behind that right leg. And that is not what you want to see. It's a guy who's had issues in this department before. For Corey Seager, that right hamstring is going to be something they're going to have to keep an eye on.
So the super utility man Josh Smith bumps down to short, and Leody Taveras is now in center with 2 in scoring position. Nobody out for the A's at the bottom of the 6th, with Wilson coming up and taking high and in on a sinker, 1-0.
Oh, it's right-hander Sean Armstrong on for Bruce Bochy right now. A little bit of a spot.
Speaking of spots, that was a good one there.
Well, there's the line so far. Patrick Corbin still responsible for a couple runners out there.
So Different look for Wilson after facing the lefty Corbin twice. Saw a strikeout in the second inning. There's 4 strikeouts and 84 plate appearances this season. 2-1. Fly ball to right. Adolis Garcia is there making the catch on Duhar. Heads toward the plate but scampers back. A beautiful throw in by Garcia, and probably a wise choice to keep him at third base for the moment.
And it was a great read off the bat from Garcia. It wasn't an instantaneous crash to the baseball. I think he knew that ball was going to hang up just a bit. And what you see right there is Garcia playing through this ball. A lot of momentum coming through the play. Fires a strike home to Higashioka. And Duhar wisely held up at third there by Eric Martins.
So Mark Kotsay is going to play the matchup game and go with Seth Brown here against the righty Armstrong. Mike Maddox is going to come out and talk to Armstrong with 2 in scoring position, 1 out. Rangers comfortably leading by 6, but we know this is a game of momentum, and Seth Brown has the ability to leave the building. We saw it in Milwaukee.
You see left-hander Hoby Milner now starting to mill about for the Texas Rangers. And you got to figure who you have coming up. It's Urshela and Urias right now, or it would have been Urshela and Urias right now. It's left-hander Seth Brown, but behind Urias, left-hander Butler, and then Rooker, and then left-hander Soderstrom.
Got to cash in here with Andujar at third and Bleday on second. Inning started off with an Andujar single, then a Bleday double. And Brown will take a get-me-over sweeper for strike 1. Left side open for Seth. Took a big hack at a fastball and misses 0-2. Well, this is the spot that Seth Brown has grown accustomed to, coming off the bench, being that 4th outfield option, that lefty bat against a righty reliever. Time is now. The stretch, the 0-2. Seth takes, and it's a strike on the inside corner, and he goes down on 3 pitches.
Well, not quite the at-bat that Seth Brown was hoping to have. See that late life on that good 4-seam fastball from Armstrong, just bringing it back. Just a tough AB there for the left-hander.
It's up to Urias to extend the inning further. First pitch is low and away, 1 ball and no strikes. At least 1 for 2, a fly out, and a softly hit single that dropped into left last inning to lead off the 5th. A's have not scored a run since the 3rd. It was a Lawrence Butler solo home run to right center. Next pitch stays away as well.
And I think, you know, in a situation like this with the ball game the way it is, Armstrong maybe a little bumpy initially, but he's done a pretty good job. Last 4 outings for the right-hander, scoreless.
3 balls and no strikes. Butler waiting in the wings on deck. I would think if Urias reaches, then you might see Milner come out against Lawrence. Rio is high, a 4-pitch walk, and the bases are loaded for Lawrence Butler. And Bruce Bochy is coming out of the dugout. He's going to make a change. The bases loaded, the bottom of the 6th. The Rangers lead by 6.
Copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of The Athletics and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of The Athletics.
What an MLB debut for Rickey Henderson on June 25th of 1979 versus these Texas Rangers. Rickey went 2 for 4 with a double and his first stolen base on his way to a record 1,406.
Well, it's the Law Dog at the plate right now. This was back in the 3rd inning when Lawrence left the building. See that big smile on his face. Coming around third, boys giving him some love. He'd like to pay them back right now. Bags juiced.
First pitch is outside. Good eye by Butler.
Well, it's going to be left-hander Hoby Milner on now for Bruce Bochy. 9th appearance of the season for the Southpaw, and he has done a good job of dominating both sides of the platoon.
On Duhart, third, Bleday at second, Urias at first. The infield playing Butler to pull in a 1-1 count with 2 outs, and the Rangers up 6. 1-1 is a strike. Lawrence not agreeing, but it's catching the zone. It's just maybe from the slot it looks different.
Well, it's from the slot and where Hoby Milner's positioned a little closer to the first base side of the rubber. And so this is coming from behind Lawrence Butler.
1-2, and he's down on strike, stranding all 3. Milner does his job and keeps it a 6-run Ranger advantage, 8-2 through 6. The Cache Creek Casino Resort upcoming schedule looks like this. Man, a lot of Texas. 3 here to open up this homestand, and the White Sox come to town. And then it's 4 at Globe Life Field in Arlington, followed by 3 in Miami against the Marlins.
Bienvenido.
A bit of sunshine. Adolis Garcia popping up the first pitch. Will Langeliers have room? Almost he did overrun it. Thought he might have been able to slow, but the ball just kept coming back the other way, and he just completely flat out overran the baseball.
Well, and it's one of those tough pop-ups here behind home plate, not hit terribly high, sort of that soft pop-up, and Langeliers, no time to ditch the mask. He's got to go up and try to locate the baseball and get to it all at the same time. That's a play that is a lot tougher than it initially looks.
When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service. Trouble light on, we can fix that, and it's Jose Leclerc facing his former club.
Looking to slow that engine down of the Texas Rangers right now.
2, and he does just that, striking out Garcia on a great changeup.
Well, 2023. You remember, or not 2023, excuse me, 2016. Texas Rangers. Celebrating their championship, but Jose Leclerc. And I was talking to some folks today with the Rangers who said, hey, we miss him, take care of him. And that really has nothing to do with production. That has nothing to do with the athlete. It has everything to do with the human being. And that's something that we have come to find out about Jose Leclerc. It is just what an influence and what an impact he, along with Severino, have had. Max Schumann now on at third base, or Urshela lifted with Seth Brown taking his at bat.
It's been to the benefit of this bullpen to have a guy like Leclerc as a very accomplished veteran reliever, but something isn't right here.
Well, and Langeliers, I think, spotted it. And I don't, just Leclerc maybe not terribly confident in how he's feeling right now. Take a look at this last pitch here. Well, you can just see that wince, sort of that just look. That's something that a pitcher never really wants to do, is sort of tip your hand and how you're feeling. But the catcher in Langeliers, not only receptive, but pretty good rapport with his guys. You're able to pick up on those things, and whatever it was for Jose Leclerc, it is not something that they want to mess around with. So he will leave the ball game. Left-hander Jacob Lopez starting to throw the pitch comm together. And he'll have all the time he needs to get ready. Leclerc is going to make his walk down the line, and Jacob Lopez will enter the ball game and loosen up.
This telecast is brought to you by Toyota. Class-leading MPG and more hybrid models than any other brand. Toyota, let's go places. And by Cache Creek Casino Resort, Northern California's premier entertainment destination.
So we're in the top of the 7th inning, and mid-count, Mark Kotsay has had to make a change. Jose Leclerc felt some kind of discomfort and has since exited the game. And it will be the left-handed reliever Jacob Lopez making his 3rd appearance. He's in the middle of a 3-1 count to Marcus Semien with 1 out, and the Rangers up 6. It's 8-2. 3-1 pitch is driven to center. In comes Bleday, but it will drop for a base hit. So Semien, a 2-hit evening. He's 2 for 2.
But in true Marcus Semien fashion, he wasn't waiting around for anything. Took off on a pitch early, able to settle it up right in front of J.J. Bleday. This offense of the Texas Rangers, again, who had failed to score 7 or more runs all season, coming into tonight, have thrown up an 8 spot here through 7.
It's Jonah Heim batting in place of Jock Peterson. The switch-hitting catcher will bat righty against the lefty Lopez and take a slider in, 1 ball and no strikes. Hopefully Jose is okay. Corey Seager exited the game earlier as well. Some left hamstring tightness, we're being told.
Yeah, for good measure, Corey Seager got to walk all the way back to the clubhouse. That cannot feel great.
And it didn't look comfortable either. Just from our bird's eye view up here, 2-0 is now 3 balls and no strikes. It's a difficult ask out of any reliever to expedite your warm-up process, come out, 8-2 game, not only come out, but come out mid-count, and to try and find your stuff with relative immediacy. Zone opened up for a strike. 3-0 turns to 3-1, and Heim couldn't believe it. Eight runs off of 10 hits for Texas. Lopez misses inside, and Heim will walk with Young coming up. Well, this is a good start for a Rangers club, Dallas, that has looked so good at Globe Life Field. 10-3 at home, but just 3-6 on the road. And an 8-run performance with still a few innings left to play. Held your opponent, their home ballpark, to 2 runs, scattered the hits. Young takes in 1 ball and no strikes.
Well, that's something you're always looking to try to figure out how to do with consistency, and that's a win away from the friendly confines of your ballpark. And I think that's where you can really start to close the gap.
Well, that was a very generous strike call.
Yeah, things are opening up a bit. But remember, we told you that with Mil Jimenez, in, out, side to side.
Popped up. Soderstrom trying to find it, and he's got it right in front of the first base bag. It Looked like it was going to foul ground, but it came back in on him, and he was all over it to make the catch for the second out.
Well, that's why you see the umpires signaling for that infield fly. Those flags, as we show you right now, not much movement, but I mean, you can see the tops of the trees.
So here's Berger. Last inning, he had a high solo home run to center, dead center, and off the bat, it looked like it could have been a routine flyout. Just hung up in the air and pushed out of the ballpark.
Yeah, just I think his reaction after the swing, where he felt like he hit it well, but maybe not all of it. And that ball just kept going.
That's why when they teach you in baseball broadcasting school, you don't watch the hitter, you watch the outfielder.
Oh, really? What is that, a university? Is that a no? Is that something you took in between 8th grade basketball practice, and where did you?
I want to say it was a solid education, but it was more like a club.
Oh, all right. Well,
Speaking of a club, he clubbed this baseball.
Well, he sure did. Every bit of it. That's a finger-licking good swing from Mr. Berger. He's like, I don't know. Did I get it? Well, it went out. Scott Emerson talking things over with the battery here right now. And you're just telling the left-hander, look, you got Kyle Higashioka up right now. He's seeing lefties well. Caleb Boschley starting to toss now for the Rangers.
A's to come up. Rooker, Soderstrom, and Langeliers. Backdoor breaking ball and a called strike. The zone stays open on the outer half against righties.
Stay there. Stay there. Yep.
Stead climbs the ladder, and Higashioka gave a half-hearted rip at it and misses 0-2. A Ranger on every base. 0-2 pitch. It's a strike. And Lopez gets out of it straining all three. The Rangers still are up by 6. It's Rooker, Soderstrom, and Langeliers after we stretch.
Fans, you can experience the thrill of the ballpark with your friends, family, or colleagues. Group tickets for A's games are available for groups of 15 or more. You can enjoy all the excitement with our group ticket options and exclusive hospitality packages. Learn more and reserve your group today at athletics.com/groups.
8-2 your score. It's Rooker, Soderstrom, and Langeliers, a crew that wants to get something going for the A's. They don't want to go off quietly like they did on Sunday in Milwaukee. A 14-1 loss. Managed 7 hits, but only able to score 2 runs. Rooker has 1 of the 7. 5th inning single, and he'll take strike 1.
He will also deal with Hoby Milner, who's just a funky at bat right now.
Rooker behind at 0-2 after fouling that pitch away. A's have had trouble with runners in scoring position. Had chances. 0 for 9 with runners in scoring position. 0-2 is high. Now 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, that's just not going to get it done.
Two turned over foul. Obviously a big night tonight, and for Rooker, receiving his Silver Slugger award from last year.
Ooh, looks like that may have caught the camera.
Hopefully the lens isn't cracked. Here, those are expensive.
Especially the rose-colored ones. Watch out! Oh! That'll run you a cool $5,000. No big deal. Well, Chris, we're getting word on Jose Leclerc, who headed back to the clubhouse after his removal from the ball game. Sounds like it's just a little bit of shoulder stiffness for the veteran right-hander. So hopefully they'll get that tended to and taken care of.
Rooker draws a leadoff walk. Dallas, what separates shoulder stiffness from shoulder tightness?
It's really just a matter of vocabulary. There's really nothing at all that is going to separate those two. You know, it's stiff. I can't move. It's tight. Can't move. It's tough to get it moving, tough to get it warmed up. So no difference.
Which one sounds better?
Stiffness.
Stiffness.
Yeah.
Soderstrom up and taking in 1 ball and no strikes. Rooker on first. Drew a leadoff walk here in the bottom of the 7th, where the A's are down by 6. Soderstrom held to 0 for 3 so far, and a beautiful sweeper is in for a strike to make it 1-1.
There's some other things you don't want to hear about the shoulder, like frozen shoulder. I've had one of those. Those are typically reserved for elderly folks.
I thought that was if one of your 3 daughters was watching Elsa sing on your shoulder.
Poof. No, not so much. That means you just, the thought of even grabbing a dish out of the cupboard is enough to put you in pain.
Yeah, I've heard stories. One time when you were in fantasy camp, thought you were going to go out for an inning and you pitched a whole game. Next thing you know, you're
that was
out of commission for a long time.
Yeah, you go ahead and thank the great Dave Stewart, Mike Moore for that one. Thanks, fellas.
Silver lining is I heard you shoved.
Well, I may or may not have a 0 ERA at fantasy camp, if you ask me.
Do you ever take it easy on the men and women?
What? Absolutely not.
Guess you want to give them a big league experience.
Oh, yeah.
1-2, fly ball to right, but Adolis Garcia will make the catch on the run. Seemed like Soderstrom squared it up, but the wind started to die down and just hung up in the air enough for Adolis to make the catch.
Well, that's it. I think as we've watched those flags sort of whip around, ball that maybe doesn't have a ton of air underneath it, especially directly towards right field, with that little bit of cross breeze, probably getting knocked down.
And Shea now, line drive to Semien. He catches it, and Rooker back into first base. That'll bring up Andujar. Andujar has enjoyed the 2-hit night so far, including solo home run. That put the A's on the board. At that point, it was 2-1, and I think you would rather prefer that score line as compared to where we are now at 8-2 Rangers. Right side open, however, and Andujar taking a changeup low. 1 ball and no strikes.
Look at all this damage from the Texas Rangers. You know, at least the lead's worth of damage has come really in 1-2 innings. You know, they got off to a good start in that first inning. But back to the point of there's nothing that says that this Athletics lineup can't put together a similar inning.
Backdoor breaking ball and a beauty for a called strike. 2-1. Andujar entering play tonight. .222 versus lefties. That home run against Patrick Corbin and the single have upped that total a bit. There was nothing flashy about Corbin's performance, but he looked good.
Well, just steady. It's a steady performance. You're spotted a 2-run cushion early. He's battled back the next 2 innings. But the offense for the Texas Rangers they were able to continue to answer the bell, and I think that's what eventually was able to give Corbin enough confidence and enough breathing room for him to go out and just try to fill up the strike zone.
3-2 payoff. Andujar goes inside out, floating it to right. Adolis Garcia will let it drop in front of him. A hard turnaround first. Andujar had to scamper back in. Rooker to third, and the inning continues for J.J. Bleday, who has a double in the last inning.
Andujar, who's hit the ball hard a couple times tonight, here just catches one a little closer to the label. And that big swing, I think, is something Garcia initially maybe took pause with, but realized I'm not going to be able to break and make a play here. Just try to keep it in front of him.
It's JJ's strikeout, walk, double. In that order, first pitch is a breaking ball in. And Miguel Andujar in his A's career, all he's done is hit the baseball. The question is now, with Nick Kurtz going to be activated tomorrow, what is Andujar's role going to look like?
Well, I think that's a question that will be answered in due time.
Bleday, little pop into shallow left, and it's down for a base hit. Rooker comes in to score easily, a bloop single for J.J. Bleday, and it's now 8-3.
Chipping away, chipping away, and that very well may be enough where Bruce Bochy comes out and says, Hobie, appreciate the effort, my friend, but we're going to the bullpen. See that ball just check up in fair territory, and here comes Boch.
It's Jacob Wilson coming up to the plate, but it's now 8-3 Texas. Run comes in to score. He's finally capitalized the runner in scoring position, and now Bruce Bochy will turn to Jacob Webb, making his 11th appearance. 2-0, 2.92 ERA, has looked good, but has to face Jacob Wilson, who's on a 5-game hitting streak. Has a rare strikeout to his line tonight. He's 0 for 3. Did reach once on a fielder's choice, but that won't do to keep the inning going further. And if Jacob gets aboard, then you have a big swing with Schumann if the base is loaded up. One swing of the bat could really change a lot of things. First pitch to Wilson. He swings and misses. Andujar at second, Bleday at first. 8-3 the score. And Wilson gets a breaking ball and pops it up. High in the air to left. In comes Langford, and he makes the catch with 2 hands. But the A's get a run back. Now a 5-run lead for Texas. It's 8-3. Into the 8th inning, the Rangers have scored 8 off of 10 hits. The Athletics have scored 3 off of 9 hits, and Texas leads by 5 with 1, 2, and 3 coming up for, yes, a 5th time. Lopez fires in a strike against Josh H. Smith. Yes, the H is important. .375 average, has 2 runs scored, shows bunt won't matter. It's still a strike as he pulls back. Schumann was crashing in. 2 runs scored for Smith, a solo home run in the 5th inning, his 2nd of the year. Now at 0-2, will swing away. Lopez deals outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. So Dallas, we were talking last inning a bit about Andujar as a 3-hit night tonight. And I want to go back to the question of how do you implement Andujar into a lineup where you have Soderstrom, who's moving off of first base for Kurtz. You have the DH Rooker that's going to take up the lion's share of the DH days, and Soderstrom likely moving to left for the time being.
Well, this is where positional flexibility starts to come into play. And this is where development starts to come into play. And this is going to be
the task of the staff, the players, the front office, really everybody. It's going to take a team effort, Chris, to your point, to be able to put together multiple lineups, multiple options that have these guys not only in the lineup together, but also understanding that there's going to be a need to rotate guys. And so I think that's what's ultimately going to win out. Number one is production. So yeah, Smith wears it on the outside of his back leg. You don't see that a ton.
2-2 to Smith. And that's clobbered down the right field line, but foul.
You know, and let's remember what we have watched and what we have seen from Tyler Soderstrom unfold at the big league level, and specifically at first base, is a young man make great progress, not only defensively at the position, but we've also seen his offense ratchet up, and I believe there's a lot to be said for his impact defensively.
2-2 called, strike three, and that's how the first out will go around the horn in the top of the eighth.
And so I've got to believe that that's something that's being paid attention to. But ultimately, again, what Tyler Soderstrom has said is wherever you need me to be, doing whatever you need me to do is what I am more than willing to do to help this team win.
I think there's a bit of a quiet confidence in Tyler Soderstrom now, going from catcher to first base, having some solid success over there, changing positions once, now probably having to do it again. He was talking to A's multimedia reporter Jessica Kleinschmidt in the clubhouse, and he said, I'm going to let my athleticism speak for itself. And I think that at times we have seen that athleticism shine through in a very big way, where Mark Kotsay has said, you know, it's a little bit more difficult to see him at third base as compared to putting him in the outfield because he's faster than you may think.
Well, and not only does that come into play, but I think some of the footwork that you've seen from Sodi over there at first base as Tyler Ferguson starts to warm now for the Athletics. But some of the footwork that you've seen as Langford works the walk would lead you to believe that Soderstrom is more than capable of learning the mechanics of a new position, and dare I say, the other corner of the infield. Now, what you know about Tyler Soderstrom as an organization is that there is a certain amount of athleticism that you could tap into, and you don't want to end up taking away from the whole defensively by scattering guys out of position. So if you have the opportunity to have a guy who, in Nick Kurtz, can bring a great glove over at first base along with the light tower power, and you have the opportunity to have both of those left-handed boppers in the lineup at the same time, you're going to do your due diligence to figure out exactly how that can happen.
So talking about the macro, you know, third base could be a situation for Soderstrom to be speculative, but in the micro, you know, Mark Kotsay has said the outfield seems like a choice. And you were talking about footwork as the 0-2 comes into Leody Taveras. Is high and outside. How does the footwork at first base, if any, translate to left field? Can it help?
Well, I don't know that there's a real translation there. Ultimately, the read off the bat, I mean, because infield, outfield is so drastically different. But the first thing that has to occur, no matter where you're playing, is first step. And I've talked about it, how at the corner positions, you have to learn how to track the baseball out of the pitcher's hand, and then quickly you need to divert your eyes to the hitting zone. Because if you try to track the ball the entire time, coming off the bat 100 miles an hour plus, that thing can get on you quickly, and you might miss the point of contact. But out in the outfield, now you start to learn how to read swings a little differently. You're understanding that the count and the pitch selection could very well impact.
As the 2-2 comes in, and Taveras is beaten to the spot with a four-seamer at 91 miles an hour, 2 away.
We just snuck a fastball by Taveras.
Either way, DB, it's a good problem to have. The offensive output from Andujar, Rooker, Soderstrom, and hopefully with everything that we've seen from Kurtz coming out, it could be a lot of fun to watch those 4 guys, whatever part of the order they're in, do what they do best.
Well, there's excitement surrounding the arrival of Nick Kurtz for a reason. And I think once you get past, you know, the initial just jaw-dropping numbers from the Big Bopper, you start to plug him into this lineup, and you get creative, and you're coming up with different lineups and guys playing in different spots.
Be very interesting to see how they do it. 0-2, Langford going. Throw down from Langeliers. Short hop. The tag is late. But Urias was right on top of Langford, and the throw hit the turf and skipped up, and Langeliers looking into the dugout.
Well, and I think what you're going to consider here is whether or not that tag got put down by Urias in time, and it looks like it may have been just a hair late. And oh, he's out.
The Athletics are challenging the safe call at second base.
Well, you see where the glove hit the hand, and I think the conversation here, and you know what, I'm going to leave that out of it. I'm going to let the folks in New York do their job, and we'll get back to my point that I was going to make should it arrives. But you're looking at that foot, and whether it's on the bag right now, and if you look, it is not on the bag, and the glove tags the hand. I want to take you back here. I'm going to highlight the tag of the glove on the bare hand of Langford, and then I'm going to show you exactly where that foot is in conjunction to the tag. So here's the tag popping up right here. Boom. You see the tag. Now take a look at the foot. Not on the bag here. So you've got the tag applied, no foot on the bag at second base. He go.
That's the best, most convincing angle for your argument, but needs to be clear and conclusive.
Well, I don't know how much more clear it needs to be, because in the game of baseball, if you tag the runner before he gets to the bag, he's out.
I agree with you, buddy. I think that
well, you don't have to take my word for it. You know, it's in the rule book.
I just could see this being a difficult spot for the men and women in New York. You're looking at the review because the angles, that angle is tough because determining where that spike is on the bag.
So that's the point, is you can see the impact of the foot and the bag occur. The problem for the Texas Rangers is the tag would have already been applied. Take a look again here. Again, you'll see the tag on the hand right there, done deal, and then you can see the foot. Now watch it as we run it, and you'll see the foot pop up. Now watch the arrow. Run it.
Seems pretty clear to me. And that was one heck of a throw by Langeliers.
And again, I think just because of the closeness, and there's 2 points of contact here that you're trying to evaluate and pay attention to.
I think it would all come down to the angle that they go with to really evaluate the play, because on that angle you're absolutely right, but on one of those other angles where it's more,
well, I think we're going to get an answer
After
here.
review, the call stands. Runner safe.
Oh!
Oakland,
No.
our Athletics use their challenge.
No. Oh, no.
so it wasn't clear and conclusive enough to overturn the call. And Adolis Garcia with a ball and 2 strikes will have a runner in scoring position. The Rangers up by 5. Here's Lopez's pitch. Bouncing ball foul.
Oh, gobbled up. Things just not going right for the green and gold right now.
That's annoying.
From the stretch, the 1-2 pitch to Garcia is high. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Well,
2-2 pitch. Tipped into Langoliers' glove, and all's well that ends well. Strikeout for Lopez. A's bats again, down 5 runs. This game summary is brought to you by Toyota. 8-3 Texas, approaching the bottom of the 8th. Patrick Corbin in line for the win. 5+ innings, 2 runs off of 7 hits. Home runs from Langford, Smith, Simeon, and Berger. Bideau, his 8-run allowed performance. 5 1/3 innings. So it's Schumann, checked into the game earlier. Taking strike 1 against Webb. Got to make something happen. Ground ball deep in the hole and short. Grounding it is Smith, and across his body throws a strike to first. That's a guy who started in center field today, making a nifty play at shortstop, making it look easy.
Well, and we were talking about how serviceable he is all around the diamond. I mean, it's rare that you have a guy in the clubhouse that you feel like you could pencil in anywhere, and you don't really feel like there's much of a drop off from what you're getting from who might be the regular starter.
One ball and no strikes to Urias. He's 1 for 2, a fly out, a single, a walk. And he'll crack this one at deep left. Retreating is Langford, and it's gone. Luis Urias, a solo home run, and a little bit of noise coming in the bottom of the 8th inning. It's now 8-4.
Just keep plugging away. Just keep plugging away.
Urias down here in the 9 spot, looking to turn this over either via base runner here or some loud noise of his own. A change piece that stays up. He opened up on it.
It's Lawrence taking high, 1 ball and no strikes.
Just dunks it right into that netting.
Urias' 2nd home run of the year. Late to the party was Butler on the 4-seamer, 1-1. Lawrence has a home run. 3 of the 4 runs coming in to score for the A's have been solo home runs. 1 by Andujar, 1 by this man Lawrence Butler, and 1 by Urias. Now Lawrence pops it up. Shallow left. Young going out. Smith calling off Young at short and making the catch while backpedaling. 2 down.
Well, and the benefit of having a guy that you can play all over the diamond, right in the middle of the diamond. Ball like that goes up on a night like tonight where we've seen the wind catch it and play games. He's able to track it down. I think the Law Dog's been happier.
He plays the game with such passion, Dallas. Every time he grounds out or pops out or doesn't barrel it up, you can sense the frustration. He's a young guy, but he cares. He's just like the same way that Soderstrom and Geloff and this entire young core. He wants to win. He wants to help his team every chance that he comes up to the plate.
Well, and they've all had a taste of success, and they've had it together. And so when you arrive here in the big leagues, where they have been told time and time again that it is results-oriented, you have to win at this level, what other mentality would you have them take, right? And I think that's why it's so nice to have this group together here right now and continuing to add to it.
First pitch swing is Rooker. It's a deep drive to left. Langford back, and Rooker is homered. Brent Rooker's 7th home run of the year, and the A's have yet another run. It's 8-5 now, and wait just a minute. this is the crew to do some damage. Already 2 homers against Webb this inning, and the momentum is starting to swing in the favor of the A's.
Well, a chip and a chair. A chip and a chair is all you need. Brent Rooker pushes his chips into the middle, right along with that slider. Slider just sat. Brent Rooker delivered.
Brent Rooker receiving his Silver Slugger Award wasn't going to end the night without a homer. He just couldn't. How could you?
Not on a night where we talk about your bobblehead. It's not even bobblehead night.
So 7 home runs for Rooker, 2 homers this inning, and Webb's night is done as Bruce Bochy will go to the bullpen. 8-5 the score with 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th.
Events. You can celebrate your favorite days of the season with your family and friends, including Asian American and Pacific Islander Night, First Responders Night, Pride Night, and we got a whole lot more in store just for you. Check out the whole calendar and secure your tickets today at athletics.com/special events.
Well, the A's have certainly made things interesting. 2 homers this inning by Urias and Rooker. And now they are within 3 with 4 offensive outs left to play with here in the bottom of the 8th inning. And Bruce Bochy trying to play a little bit precautious right now against the lefty Tyler Soderstrom is going to go with the southpaw Robert Garcia.
Well, and for good reason, because it's Tyler Soderstrom standing in the on-deck circle right now waiting to take his at-bat. And we have seen this A's offense start to climb back into it via a couple long balls.
So Soderstrom 0 for 4 tonight, looking for his first hit. Hopes to extend this inning further, where the A's managed 2 more home runs to their effort. First pitch is outside, 1 ball and no strikes. A's 4 homers as a team tonight. You know who else has 4 homers? The Rangers. 8 home runs between these 2 teams. And Soderstrom to deep center field. Taveras on the run, going back at the track, and he hauls it in right before the wall. Soderstrom teed off the baseball, but Leody Taveras had other plans. Not before the A's managed 2 home runs in the bottom of the 8th inning. First it was Luis Urias to left, and then Brent Rooker to left center. His 7th of the year makes it an 8-5 Rangers advantage going into the 9th.
Some ball games throughout the 2025 season. You can get your discounted tickets at athletics.com/value. There you go. A couple of scholars out at the ball game. Love to see it.
Tyler Ferguson, making his 10th appearance, has been sensational to start the season. A sub-1 ERA. Will address Simeon, Heim, and Young. 8-5 the Rangers lead. Ferguson hoping to keep it that way. First pitch and a high fly ball, shallow center. In comes Bleday and makes the catch. 1 pitch, 1 out for Tyler Ferguson. So it's Jonah Heim now switching sides of the plate. Walked 2 innings ago as a pinch hitter for Peterson, who ended the day at 0 for 3. His hitless streak goes to 0 for 41, Dallas.
Yeah, that is lengthy, to say the least.
Field will play Heim to pull. Everybody playing back as well against the left-handed hitting catcher. And a pop-up. Will it stay playable? Schumann on, and goes off the screening, out of play. Well, it's already been a great game in terms of offense. I wouldn't necessarily say back and forth. It seems like the Rangers have commanded offensively. However, they've been out hit by the A's now, 11-10, but outscored the A's by 3. It's 8-5. This sets up the rest of not only this series, but after the series against the White Sox, you go back to Texas for 4.
Yeah, and I think tonight Rangers were 2 for 7 with runners in scoring position. The A's just 1 for 11. And I get it, that's just one more knock than the other side with runners in scoring position, but they've capitalized.
2-1 to Heim. Butler playing by the line and right, and Heim swinging that way and missing on a fastball. 2-2. Back up the middle, but Wilson is there, positioned perfectly. The throw to first is also fantastic. 2 down. Well, here's a question, Dallas. With Tyler Ferguson being the leverage guy that he is, the success that he's had, does putting him out here in the 9th inning, despite being down 3, tell you that they still think we can win this game?
Oh, there's no question. There's no question. And I think that's something that you have to get comfortable doing, and something as Mark Kotsay continues to watch this bullpen develop and evolve.
Bouncing ball to Schumann at third. He waits back, gets rid of it quickly. It's a low throw, and Soderstrom is able to stay on the bag and dig it out. Nice play by Soderstrom, and a 1-2-3 inning for Ferguson. One more chance for the A's in the 9th.
Steelers, it's long ball time. Liftoff, Miggy. And a barrel delivery from the Butler. And Louis in on the action. Urias jumping ship, and then checkmate via Rook. That's 4 long balls for the green and gold. Still chasing 3 runs here as we head to the bottom of the 9th. There was a challenge while we were away on that inning-ending play there. I think the Texas Rangers felt like Soderstrom may have popped off that bag a little early, but upon further review, that was not the case. And that takes us here to the bottom of the 9th.
When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service. Trouble light on? We can fix that.
And right now the Athletics looking to make a little comeback noise here against Luke Jackson. 6 for 6 in his save opportunities. He has answered the bell and then some for Bruce Bochy. In spots just like this.
3 outs to score 3 runs. This is what you want, baby. This is where you make your money. Langoliers on Duhar and Blade. Good part of the order against the former World Series champion with the Atlanta Braves. And it's Shea Langoliers. 1 for 4 tonight. Need him to get aboard. You're down 3 outs left to play. Competitive game. We've been treated to a nice one tonight, despite the scoreline not being in the A's favor for the moment. This sets the table for the rest of the series. Righty Jackson winds up his first pitch against Shea, and it is a strike at the knees, 0-1.
Well, Jackson coming right after him with that overhand fastball.
That's tipped into Higashioka's glove. 0-2.
Well, and I think you can already see just in those 2 pitches alone what makes Luke Jackson such a tough customer.
So Shea playing behind in the count at 0-2. Need to get 2 aboard at least. 0-2, bouncing ball to third, waiting back is Young. Quick throw to first, and Berger is there to receive it for the first out. It's now up to Andujar, who's already managed 3 hits tonight. And you're asking him to try and pick up another or get on base in any way, shape, or form here in the bottom of the 9th with 1 out. First pitch, Starts him off with an 84-mile-per-hour curveball.
Well, let's see if we don't have a little backwards action here. Maybe a double up on the curveball and then hard fastball at the end of it.
Andujar, a selective eye at the plate, now batting .324 on the season. Solo home run, 2 singles. It's away, 2 balls and 1 strike. Man, is it fun watching Miguel swing the bat.
Well, especially when he's putting the bat on the ball the way he is right now. Feels like he can make anything happen.
2-1 windup, breaking ball, slow roller to third, waiting back is Young. Strong throw to first, and it beats out Andujar by a step. So 2 chances for Young, he deals with them well. And J.J. Bleday, the lifeline, comes up.
Yeah, Young has been money over there. Strong throw. Felt like there may have been an opportunity for a little mishap, misstep, maybe a bobble, but not so much.
First pitch to Bleday is a high curveball for a called strike, 0-1. 8-5 the score. Bleday absolutely needs to get aboard to keep this game going, or else Rangers will improve to 14-9. Yeah, Bleday, Wilson, what would be Max Schumann if it gets to that point. What you can say about the A's club is there hasn't been any quit tonight.
No, the resiliency on full display.
2-1, this should do it. And it will. That's the end of your ball game. The Rangers win 8-5 and improve to 14-9. The A's fall to 10-13, top to bottom. A game that unfortunately didn't go the way of the Athletics. However, offensively, they were impressive once more. They'll try and get back against the Rangers tomorrow.
Yeah, tip of the cap to the left-hander, Patrick Corbin, who started the ball game, got the Rangers through 5 solid innings, just a couple earned runs allowed. And Chris, we had talked about the perseverance of this Athletics offense. Unfortunately, just not quite enough muscle to make it all the way back into the ball game, but some positive signs when you're down, able to build a couple innings, and then obviously relying on the long ball, just not quite enough horsepower.
DB, let's take a look at our probables tomorrow night here in West Sacramento for Game 2 against the Texas Rangers. It's Kumar Rocker against J.P. Sears. Obviously, Rocker getting his first taste of the big leagues, a former Vanderbilt product himself. And J.P. Sears has had a sensational start to his 2025 campaign.
Yeah, I think for J.P. Sears, just looking to kind of continue the role that he's been on. And there's been a speed bump or two, but facing off against a guy in Kumar Rocker, who you see the numbers there again, I feel like there's a really good opportunity for this A's offense to climb back into this series here, already down 1.
We'll do it again tomorrow, but for now, stay tuned. A's Cast on NBC Sports starts right now.